Hello, Jill here. Thank you for joining me. Today I want to share with you some of my projects I have started and that I'm working on. So I will be revealing those shortly. So I thought I would just share with you some of them and what direction I'm taking and so on. Maybe think through a few of the options I have for each of them. So I'm going to start today. I'm going to set this aside. Again, thanks for joining me. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're doing something you love today. I appreciate all of you joining my channel. I reached 1,000 subscribers and a couple thousand hours of watch time. So it's been a great experience and I really enjoy sharing with you guys. So I hope you'll come back often. Let's get started. The first thing I'm working on a journal. And some of you who watch my channel for not just stitching, but for my journals as well, know that I'm working on this journal here. And I'm going to be stitching, the reason I bring the journal up is I'm going to be stitching the background piece for this cover for the outside and for the inside. So I have my fabric cut. I'm going to be canvas stitching this whole thing, and then this will be the inside and the outside of that book. So that won't take too long. This isn't a heavy fabric, and I will probably get that done fairly quickly, I would hope. The next thing, so that's one of my stitching projects. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. This one, now I've watched so many people do little snippet rolls or, samplers or, whatever. And I just love watching them. And I thought I'm going to do one. And what am I going to use this for? I'm going to use this to practice my collaging of fabric, to practice some stitching that I've never done before, like these flowers. I might try to paint these, embroidery, slow stitching. So that's what that's all about. And I've gathered up some of these scraps to work with. And then I know how long I want to make it. And how did I pick that? I want it to be long enough to evolve over time, like that, something that I could pick up and take in the other room and just work on a little piece at a time. I want to have many different types of stitches on this. I don't want it to be too cohesive where everything's the same. I want it to be different, and yet I want it all to be, I don't know. I want to see from the beginning to the end how I have evolved through the stitching and the collaging. Now, one thing I want to mention on this project is this. If you notice, I am right-handed. Not that that makes a difference for the reason I'm doing this, but I'm right-handed and I'm going to work from right to left, which may sound strange. But when I would attach it to a roll, I want to be able to attach this end first, and it will roll up like this around my thing. And then when I unroll it, I will be unrolling it. I hope nothing falls out. I don't know how well I have them pinned down. But then when I show someone, I can show them from the beginning, and it will tell its story as I unroll it this way. So that's why I'm starting from this side and working to that side. So this project is underway, just getting started, but happily started, and I look forward to working on it. I hope the thread painting goes well. I don't know. We'll see. So that's another thing I'm working on. Now, some of you may have seen, let me pull out supersize bowl here. Maybe I'll talk about the bowls for a minute, but I'll show you this first. You might have seen a YouTube short that I created with this little page. And my idea is I'm going to be making 12 of these. I'm going to be making one a month. And I put a spine on them, and I put little grommets, eyelets, whatever you want to call them on there. And that's going to hold the pages together when I'm done. And we'll be putting them all together into a book. But the pages should open flat then. And it lends a lot of stability to this project. So I have 11 more of these pages ready to go and 11 more spines ready to go. And I just decided that my supersized bowl that I made was what I was going to use to put it in when I move it around and work on it. So one a month. So I went to Feather Stitch House and was looking at one she made with different stitches on these little squares of fabric, and I loved the thought. I thought, I'm going to do that on my first page of my stitch book. Now this book is going to have all different stitches in it, and I'm thinking right now, of course, 12 months is a long time, so you know, I may change my mind over the 12 months. But one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to start a new page early. I have to wait till September 1st. Now, I was real excited when I started this, and I couldn't wait, and I wanted to start the second page so bad. And I thought, no, wait. So I'm going to do it one at a time. But I used all straight stitches here in some way, shape, or form, like just a straight stitch. Even though these are cross stitch, it's still essentially a straight stitch, seed stitch, some circular around the button there, and still straight stitches, varying lengths and colors around another button here, a little bit of this stitch here, and the straight stitching again. So I just love how it turned out. I'm looking so forward. I think since this one was all straight stitching, I'm going to do circles and swirls or something on the second page, but that'll be coming sometime in September. And then and I'm going to come back and talk about supersize bowl in a minute. And then my last project that I have on the go right now is I'm going to make another Japanese rice bag. And I think many of you have seen my other rice bag on the video that I shared with my wonky birds. So get ready, because I'm making another rice bag. I love these. They look like this one. I especially like this. It looks like a little box almost. You know, I did couch stitching there. The birds came out so cute. Of course, had little shoes or boots on, and I just loved it. So I'm going to be making another rice bag. So I have prepped my fabrics for the sides and the bottom. So you'll see that it's going to be just about the same size as that one. I think I might have made it just a pinch bigger, but it's not really going to be noticeable because when you get done. And remember, we did all the stitching on the bottom of this one. So I'm looking forward to making the next one. And that will be coming up shortly. So I'll be showing you that as it goes along. I think if you'd like to see how I make them, I have this paper out to make the templates for the pieces. Like, for example, on this, when I made the tail, I made a template for the tail, one for the beak, of course for the shoes and the wings, etc. So I will be making the template for the next rice bag. If you want to see how I do that and how I cut the fabric using the templates, come back off and I'll let you know. Subscribe. That's one way. You can subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get a notification when things are posted, and you can keep up to date on that project. And I think in the rest of this video, I wanted to talk about the rice bag, because my video that had about the fabric bowl template, I've had a lot of questions on that. And the question was, do you leave the paper in, or do you take the paper out, or do you wrap the paper around it? And I appreciate everyone's questions because it helps me to get better at explaining things. At least I hope so. The template was simply to show you more easily how I cut my fabric. So that template, if you look at that video, is simply that, like you would use a dress pattern or any kind of pattern. You know, I use the biggest part of that to cut the outside of that bowl with my fabric. So you can lay it on there, use it as a template, and cut around it. You don't have to, just cut a circle. But I wanted to demonstrate how I cut in to the center and how far down from the top I make that first cut deeper and then the second cut halfway. So if you use the paper as a reference, not as a piece that's going to actually be inside or within the bowl when you are finished, that would probably be a better way to look at it. And I'm probably not explaining it very well again, but I hope that you understand. And certainly if you have questions beyond what I'm trying to explain here, I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing at myself, because sometimes I know what I'm trying to say, and then trying to put it in order for you guys to understand, well, that's just a whole different story in my mind. So let's go with the story that it was intended. And that is that the paper piece, and I don't have it laying right here, which I should have, the round paper piece with all the lines on it. I'll link the video to that template down in the description box below, and you can take a look at it. But that piece of paper is not intended to be in this bowl. There's no fabric on that paper. It's simply used to lay down your fabric. Lay down your fabric. Let me grab something here. We'll just use these. We'll just use this. So here's the fabric I want for my, this is the, actually, it's my batting. It's the batting or the wadding, whatever you call it where you live. The wadding. You want to take the wadding, use that paper template, draw a circle or cut around that paper template. And then you can see on the paper template how far down to cut all this. Then when you're sewing your fabric, you're actually sewing the fabric onto your batting, not onto the paper. Oh my gosh, I could have cut through the last so many minutes just by explaining this correctly. So what you're really cutting out round is your batting or the filling that goes into your bowl. And I do use a batting because what would you use? I mean, you could use another piece of material, but you want to give it a little bit of structure, a little bit of sturdiness. It's a bowl after all, right? And so I use batting, which is, I'm US, so it's called batting, but I believe other places is wadding. You could use an old blanket. You could use anything, but give it some stability so that when you're stitching on all these fabrics, it starts to stand up. So now I probably just created a situation where we'll have a lot more questions. But, and then once you get your batting cut, that's when you cut those little slits down all the way around. Excuse my dog. All the way around, and then cut the other ones. You cut the long ones down to the center circle on the pattern, the short ones in between part way, and then you put all your batting together and then start covering it with fabric. So I so apologize if I'm not explaining this properly, but I can try again. And I can hear most of you saying, no, no, please don't try again. You'll have us more confused than ever. Trust me, I don't take much personally, so if you have criticism about how I explain that, feel free to vent. Anyway, so those are my stitching projects I've got going. I'm going to go away now and work on my stitching projects. And hopefully you'll be getting some updates soon. and we'll share again. In the meantime, you have a great rest of your day. Do something you love, and until the next time.